Well, here we go again. We got another one here, guys, and I'm sure I've talked about him before, and I'm sure you've seen him on social media before, but this comicxbook guy loves to run his mouth on James Gunn and make himself look stupid, spreading false information, misinformation, have you, about things with DC Studios and James Gunn. And the latest, after marking the 2-year mark of James Gunn co-spearheading DC Studios, is kind of ridiculous if you ask me. So his post here states that in the last 2 years, it's been 2 years since James Gunn and Peter Safran have been running DC Studios. He goes, in that time, the studio has already produced 5 box office flops. Okay. Spent $363 million on Superman, filmed Peacemaker, cast over 15 C-list nepotism actors, hired only white men directors, and cast a light-skinned actor as John Stewart. All right, I want to go through a few of these here, and I want to highlight some of the ignorance that he decided to post here, because and some of the racist remarks he made, because I want to highlight the toxicity of these people, because again, I love to point out how ridiculous these Snyder people are. I say it all the time. It's not about just the misinformation. It's about highlighting the toxicity and the hypocritical nature of what they do. All right? Because remember, these people just a few years ago sat there and talked about artistic integrity. Artistic integrity was the basis of their movement. Yet here we stand, and they say things like this. It's pathetic. It's truly pathetic. But let's go down the list here. He says they produced 5 box office flops. Well, just a little information for you here. DC Studios, when it comes to box office, has only distributed one film at the box office. And that here is Superman, the Christopher Reeve story. Now, mind you, as of recording this, just 2 days ago was it officially released worldwide, or not even worldwide, but in wide release. It was released September 21st in limited capacity in just a very few amount of theaters. And you could see at that point in time, it only made just over $4,000. The box office for what just released just a couple days ago has not been released yet. But this is the only film, as of today, that has been distributed under DC Studios. So your comment here, Mr. comicxbook, produced 5 box office flops, is factually incorrect. Now, the information you put up here, you show Aquaman, Blue Beetle, The Flash, Shazam, Black Adam, Suicide Squad, and all these. First off, you can't go anywhere but Shazam, The Flash, Blue Beetle, Aquaman, and I guess you're trying to say Joker, Folie à Deux. So those are the ones you're trying to go with there, right? Well, first off, Joker Folie à Deux is 100% a Warner Brothers picture. That is not under DC Studios at all. The Shazam, Flash, Blue Beetle, Aquaman, same thing. Under Warner Brothers, not DC Studios at all. So I don't understand why you're trying to say this. All of those were shot, filmed, and were mostly all in post-production by the time that James Gunn came on board. He maybe gave some notes to say, hey, we're ending the DCU, so you may want to, in your additional photography, add these scenes to just close up shop because the DCU is ending. But the story, the main plot of the movie, those movies were done. It wasn't James Gunn. So you trying to sit there and say, James Gunn produced 5, you're wrong. You're factually wrong, dude. Like, just get over it. You're wrong. All right? So, moving on. Spent $363 million on Superman. Interesting. So, that is a very high number. That would be like the second highest amount of money spent on a comic book movie. Well, if we take a look here, This was months ago that this was brought up. This rumor was brought up. And somebody asked James Gunn outright, "Hey James, this article says Superman budget is 364, true or false?" And James Gunn said, "Absolutely not. How in the world do they think they know what our budget is?" Now this is coming from Screen Rant. Again, this was a number of months ago that this came out, February to be exact of this year. And yeah, it's not, guys. And here's the thing. Let's just say, like, this is how movie studios work, all right? They will go and find let's say in America, they'll find a state, they'll find some place that they can shoot a movie and get tax breaks. And those tax breaks will help lower the budget of the movie. And sometimes the budget of the movie could be a little higher, but those tax breaks make it go lower and the budget then gets lower. Things like that can happen. So again, there are reasons and things that the information you may read or see is not actually true. Okay? People need to realize that everything you read is not accurate on the internet. James Gunn has come out and said, "Hey, this is not true. This is false. This 364 million is not right." There you go. There you have it. So again, comicxbook, you're wrong. You're wrong. Once again, shocking, right? Shocking that somebody who has this vendetta against James Gunn is wrong. And I'd say time and time again, I don't care who's running DC Studios. I just want good content. I don't care if it was James Gunn. I don't care if it was Dan Lin. I don't care who it is. I'm excited about what's coming. These people who are just freaking out constantly are the same way. They don't care if it's James Gunn. They wouldn't have cared who was in there. They would be doing the same thing to no matter who was sitting there. Keep that in mind. They filmed Peacemaker. Yeah, they did. You're not wrong. Actually, congratulations. You got one right. Look at that. Good job. Good job. Cast over 15 C-list nepotism actors. And he shares this photo. And what's funny about this photo is he shares all these actors, which is hilarious, okay, first of all. Now, nepotism, that means using your power to hire or utilize family and friends, okay? That's kind of roughly what that means. So as we sit here, we take a look. David Corenswet. James Gunn's never worked with David Corenswet. Zolo. Never worked with Zolo. I can't remember her name, but never worked with her. Edie Gathegi, never worked with him. Chandler, never worked with him. Aaron Pierre, never worked with him. Nathan Fillion. Oh, wait, finally, after 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the sixth person on here is finally seventh person. After the seventh person on here, finally, it's somebody that he's worked with. Interesting. Millie Alcock, never worked with her. Well, he's not actually officially cast as Booster Gold, so we got to move on from him. And another one that he's never worked. So you see, he posts a picture here, cast over 15 C-list nepotism actors. Okay, so first off, the nepotism you can take out of your little photo here because none of these actors, except for one, has he actually worked with before. And then you're going to sit here and say C-list actors. Well, Kyle Chandler is not really a C-list actor. I'm not going to say he's A-list, B-list definitely, but he's a character actor. He's not an A-list actor. Most character actors aren't. That's fine. Edie Gathegi, again, character actor. Zolo is on his way to being an A-list actor. He's definitely on the rise. I mean, he was a child star just a few years ago, but he's on the rise. You got Aaron Pierre. He's on the rise as well. Nathan Fillion, he's a B-list actor. Millie Alcock, another one on the rise. Again, you're looking at these actors as being B-list is bad. No, you look at things, look at the Marvel Cinematic Universe. The only A-list actor they had when they started was Robert Downey Jr. Sure, they had some of the supporting actors were A-listers, Rene Russo and stuff like that, but they were like on the downswing of their career. They weren't even like the top tier A-list actors. They were on the downswing. So it's okay. Like, you don't have to have in these big roles these big A-list actors. And even Robert Downey Jr. at that time wasn't even an A-list actor. He was just A-list in name only. His career was so in the shitter from everything that happened. He was coming back. So again, you take a look at things and you're saying like having these young stars, having these young actors trying to build their career up is a bad thing. No, it does a couple of different things. One, it helps keep the budget for the universe down, and two, it allows them to grow with the universe and grow their stock up. These actors, again, many of these actors are phenomenal actors if you've seen them in other projects who are on the rise, and this is a perfect time to get them. So you sitting here saying 15 C-list nepotism actors is just ridiculous. And the craziest thing is I sit here and I say, well, here's a lot more of the actors that you're sitting here complaining about. He's got John Cena, who is probably an A-list actor. You've got the chick who plays Amanda Waller. I can't remember her name right now. It's leaving me. You got Nicholas Hoult. He's an A-list actor, man. You got Alan Tudyk, who is a B-list actor. I mean, you've got other actors within this who are pretty close to top tier actors. So don't sit there and act like you know what you're talking. Rachel Brosnahan, pretty high tier, maybe not A tier, but B tier. I mean, she had her own show that was a massive hit. Like, again, sit here and say what you want, but you're wrong. You're wrong. You're just wrong yet again. And then you sit here and say hired only white men directors. Okay, so they've had 2 projects so far. Superman, which he directed, which is what everybody in the studio wanted, is they wanted him to direct Superman. Okay, that's fine. He directed that. Then they had Peacemaker. And there's 8 episodes of that. Okay, they hired men directors for that. That's fine. Okay, Supergirl's coming out. And yes, they have a male director. But let's not forget that it was a female writer for the movie. So you're leaving out very important parts that it's not like they're not hiring females. And then you're going to sit there and say, and you specifically said white male directors. Well, let's go back to this here, and you're trying to insinuate that there's no diversity within the DCU. Well, there's quite a bit of diversity, as you see here. Like, come on. Like, I see what you're trying to do. You're trying to make a point like, no diversity. No, there's plenty of diversity in the DCU. And they're just 3 projects in. Lanterns just hired their first 2-episode director. We don't know what the other directors are going to be. Calm down. Things are going to play out. This is going to have multiple projects throughout the entire universe. They're going to have women and blacks and Hispanics all throughout in directing and writing and acting and such. Like, you can calm down, man. It's okay. You can calm down. And then finally, you talk about cast a light-skinned actor as Jon Stewart. And I'll pull this up again because here you see Aaron Pierre as Jon Stewart. And all of a sudden, that matters to people that a black man is cast as a black man. And it is the most disturbing and vile display that I've seen over quite some time. That people actually complained that a black man got hired for a black role. Like, I don't understand what the problem is. I don't get it. Like, it's just, you find any possible reason to complain. What happened to the idea of hiring the best person for the role? Plain and simple. You hire the best person for the role. First off, you want a person of color. All right, because that is who he is. Jon Stewart is a person of color. So he is a black man. So you find the best person of color, a black man, to portray the role. And you find the best person of color to play that role. Plain and simple. Like, it's absurd to me. It is absolutely absurd to me that you will go that route and basically tell Aaron Pierre, you're not black enough. Like, that is absurd. Do you understand how ridiculous that is? I'm sorry. That's just... I can't. It's disgusting. It's vile that you would say something like that. It is. It is. It's just disgusting and vile. But these are the Snyder fans, the cults, as you would say, that constantly do this kind of stuff. And it needs called out. This is the stuff that needs called out. These people should not get a win. They should not have a voice at all, because everything they say is false information. They try to act like they know what they're talking about, but they don't. They don't. I pointed out everything here, with the exception that they filmed Peacemaker, which is right. Again, round of applause. You got one right. But everything else was just false information, and it's ridiculous. But let me know your thoughts in the comments below. With all that said, I'll catch you all later.